Okay, for those of you who are joining us just now, good timing. We're going to start the class now, and everything that happened beforehand has been stricken from the record and does not exist anymore. So, Mishle, I've heard of it before. Book of Proverbs. Okay, so let me screen share, get everything set up here. Wow. And I know how this happened, by the way. Earlier this evening, I had an idea that I wanted to add to the Jewish history class. I went in, I added some notes, and that was what was on my screen when I came here. So, okay. Yeah, excuses, excuses. I used to have a sign on my wall in the shul in Chicago. It said, no excuses, just results. So I'm not here to give excuses. Okay, let's go to here. Okay, so we're going to get into tonight, as I mentioned in the email or whatever, the message sent out earlier today or last night was chapter 2 of Mishle. This is a map. It says Cape Town here. I don't know if this is from Cape Town. It's not from Cape Town. I just grabbed some random picture of a map. And this to me I thought of this as I was learning this this chapter, is that the chapter is really a map. Chapter 2 is a map. I didn't see this, and it's just my own perspective. And that eventually it takes you down certain streets, eventually leads to chokhmah. Okay, it leads to wisdom. Prior chapter ended with wisdom talking to us and saying what to do, what not to do when you get enticed by the Yetzer Hara or by bad people. And we talk about that. And this chapter now is once again wisdom talking, but saying here's a roadmap leading us to Chokhmah. You'll notice it's again, this is just my mashal or my parable. It's saying you go down here, turn here, boom, and then boom, you hit Chokhmah, you hit wisdom. But if you were to go here, or you go over here, you've gone away. You're not going to get to wisdom. You may know about wisdom, you know it's over here, but you really need to be going back and going over here. So this is what this chapter, to me, really symbolized. We're going to take a look at, let me make it a little smaller, at the first few psukim. I'm going to read the first 6 psukim and translate. Right now, disregard the highlighted, the red. Just right now, I'm just going to read and translate. Okay, again, this is wisdom speaking to you and me. Beni, my child, my son. Intikach amarai, if you will listen or accept my words. By the way, the translation I'm giving you right now is from a different sefer I have. It's not to say what's going to be the exact same thing on the screen, but that's fine. Umitzvotai titzponitach, and treasure my commandments with yourself. Some of you may already realize, wait, the word titzpon, tzafon, matzpein. So all kinds of meanings of tzadi pei nun in Hebrew. We'll talk about that. If you do that, and lahakshiv lachochma oznecha, if you will, I'm over here right now, you'll make your ear attentive to wisdom, tateli b'chalatuna, and you'll incline your heart to tvuna, which, as we talked about, is the idea of being discerning something, so to see one thing, but be able to figure out something from it. Ki'im la bina tikra, for if you call out unto understanding, litvuna titen kolecha, and you will give voice to discernment. Im tevakshena kakesef v'chamatmonim tach besena, if you will seek it being wisdom, if you will seek it out as you seek out money, and you'll search for it as you search for treasures, as then, if you do all these things, you'll listen, you'll talk, you'll hear, you'll pay attention to what I'm saying in the last chapter, and you'll seek out wisdom, then, as tavin yirat Hashem, you'll understand what it means, yirat Hashem. We translate that as the fear of God, the awe of God, v'da'at Elokim timtza, and you will also find or discover the knowledge of God. Ki Hashem yitein chokhmah, Hashem will give his wisdom, mipiv dat utuna, and from his mouth he'll give wisdom and discernment. Okay, so in very general terms right now, something fairly simple is telling us that that I gave you some advice, he says in the last chapter, or she, I guess it's chokhmah. I gave you some advice in the last chapter, and that chapter I told you how to be careful. Now I'm telling you how to be proactive. You want to become someone who has wisdom. You want to become someone who has chokhmah. Just listen to my words. Notice all the verbs. And we'll talk about that obviously in a moment. L'hakshiv, pay attention. Tatel incline your heart. Tikra, call out. Titen kolecha, give voice. Intavakshena, if you will seek. Tachbesena, also another word for seeking or searching. As tavin, then you will understand. This is why there's so many verbs. I don't know if someone says this or not. And I say that on purpose because I don't want you to think I'm quoting Ibn Ezra or something. Right now, it's just Zev Shandalov. I don't know. I think the reason there's so many verbs in these 6 psukim is to teach us. And remember, Shlomo HaMelech, who was the Chacham Kol Adam, the wisest of all people, that he not only has words that he put down on paper, and not only do they mean something deep, but there are also hidden things here. And I think what he's hiding, actually in plain sight, is the fact that there's all these verbs here is to tell us that you cannot achieve wisdom passively. You have to be active. We just saw in last week's parasha, in Parashat Vayera, we see when Avraham Avinu sees these 3 people going by, he doesn't know they're people, that they're angels. And it says, if you look at the first few psukim, it's filled with running and going and doing and fast and Lashon Zrizut of just trying to do everything. El Habakaratz Abraham, and Abraham ran to this, and Maharish, he says to Sarah, hurry, Lushi Vasiu, go make the cakes. So same idea over here is you cannot sit at home and say, you know what, I'm going to pick up a book and learn a little Mishle, or I'll learn a bit of Sharim or something, or learn some Parshat Shavua for 10 minutes, and boom, I'm going to have wisdom. It doesn't work that way. It's a lifelong attempt to come up with to go for wisdom, and it is not passive. That's Aleph. And Bet, I'm just going to jump into the middle here for a second. This one line here, this pasuk, which actually is fairly well known. If you will seek it like you do silver or money, and you will search for it as for treasures, then you will, etc. You'll gain wisdom. When it comes to money, people lose their minds. Suddenly, that which is prohibited becomes okay. Cheating is okay. Always looking for that almighty buck. People fool themselves. They think that they are allowed to do something. They are called mora heter. They teach themselves that they have a heter, permission to do something that's absolutely against halacha, absolutely against the law, but it's money. But people are always seeking. There are very few people. I've heard, I don't remember if I've said this myself or I heard this from somebody. No one ever sits down and looks at their bank account and says, "Oh my gosh, I have too much money. This is enough already." No one, I don't think, the richest person in the world. You know, they're talking with Elon Musk about almost $1 trillion payout for if he reaches certain goals, like billions and billions of dollars of. You can't even think about these numbers in human terms, and yet he still would want more money. And no slam against them. You got to, you know, everyone needs a few extra billion in the bank. But the idea that Shlomo is trying to get us to understand, after he tells us, pay attention and to listen, incline your heart, call it out, be proactive. He said, you know what? I'm going to give you some practical advice. Look for wisdom like you look for money. Just like you look to seek to make it, to have income, to have parnasah, which is good. You need to. You also should be careful in doing the same thing with that. I saw a wonderful piece. I'm sure many of you have seen it a few years ago, maybe, that if we treated our Tanakh like we do our cell phone, that we'd be a very learned people. You know, oh, you go 1 second. Oh, wait, it's not in my pocket. Where is it? And then you have it with you all the time. You're checking it all the time. But you check the Tanakh, and I'm talking to myself too, by the way. Check your Tanakh as much as you check your phone. Be a different world. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about these few psukim here. If you look again at these psukim, at the things I highlighted, you see that there really are, according to Rabbeinu Yonah, but that wasn't, you know, like, oh, those are some verbs, let's highlight them. There's a reason I did it. Rabbeinu Yonah gives us and says there really are 5 steps in the way we acquire chokhmah. Again, it's important to understand that word. To acquire something does not mean that you just have it. To acquire means it needs to become a part of you. We talked about this concept of kinyan, to make an acquisition and to buy something. If you walk into a store and you take a candy bar and you walk out with it, you didn't acquire it, you stole it. If you give an acquisition, you get cash and you walk out with it, it's now yours. Someone takes it, they're stealing something of yours from you. So it becomes a part of you, not necessarily physically to your body, but it becomes a part of your assets. This whole 5 shekel candy bar. But there's a way to acquire chokhmah. He says, Rabbeinu listed, you have to listen to your teacher's words. It says, Lakshiva chokhmah. When chokhmah herself is addressing us, it is also saying to listen to your teachers. You have to tatel libcha, incline your heart. What does that mean to incline your heart? I'll give you a good example. If a person is driving somewhere, and they have the radio on, and they're driving to get to some destination that is someplace they don't normally go to. So they don't really know the way. They're listening to Waze, or in the olden days, you had a map or someone wrote down how to get somewhere. As you get nearer and nearer to your destination, vast majority of people turn off the radio or turn off the music they may be listening to. Why? Because they understand that whereas Waze brought them to this, it took them, the next 30 kilometers down Kvish Achad 1, road 1. But now you're starting to go into the actual Yishuv. Okay, you have to go to this next kikar, this next traffic circle. The next one, go after that, make a left and go left. Now you really have to focus. You understand that's important to pay attention. So what do? You remove those things that are stopping you from doing that. And that's this, tatali b'cha. You cannot expect to learn something and incorporate it when you have other things going on around you. And I don't mean this as a joke at all. A person who has attention deficit disorder, a person who has trouble concentrating, a person who doesn't know how to study, how to read, how to learn. This is what this line is saying to us. Focus, pay attention if you want to acquire chokhmah. Also, this word, ki'im the bina tikra, Rabbeinu Yonah reads that as davening. What does it mean, davening? When someone is lacking health, God forbid, a shidduch, a baby, shalom bayit, whatever it might be, our natural inclination is to daven. Whether we make a separate prayer or we incorporate it into our tefillah. But there are things we don't tend to daven for, even though it's actually part of our tefillah. The bracha before Shema in the morning is very, very clearly talking about we're asking Hashem to give us the ability to keep, to teach, to do, put into practice what we learn. But we have to daven for chokhmah, he says. That's what this tikra is. And it doesn't come easy. We have to actually, as I said, we have to be proactive and do something about it. And we have to really enjoy it. We have to love what we're doing. And that's what these couple psukim here are teaching us here. In addition to that, there's a Targum Yonatan, which is not Onkelos, but it's another Targum, another translation into Aramaic, that says in this pasuk, ki im labina tikra, which we translate, if you call out to understanding, ki im here means if. But the Targum Yonasan reads it as ki aim labina tikra, that you call chokhmah your mother. Your mother is why? That it's the Torah itself is ilu like our mother. We already saw before there was opinions of Targum Yonasan and others, and we said Shema b'ni musar avicha v'al titosh torati mecha, that the torati mecha was the words of the Chachamim, that the Torah, that the titosh torata Shema b'ni musar avicha, the avicha is Hashem, and the meaning of the Torah in Hashemayim. But here, the Targum Yonasan is translating it as meaning the idea of we should look at the Torah and Chokhmah is our mother. Why? Mother's nurturing, mother's caring, mother's giving. This connection that doesn't break. Bezrat Hashem, it shouldn't. Why is it? It's not just, I'm going to go back to this pasuk, not just like, okay, just like you want to seek out money and make an income and be financially secure. But again, unless I happen to be some kind of an individual who did something where I just can sit at home and residuals are pouring in from something and I just don't have to do anything or do any work. People have to work. People have to make an income until you get to a certain age. And Baruch Hashem, you can retire and you hopefully can retire. But you got to do something in the meantime. And that's this bikush, levakesh, to seek out something, to ask for, to inquire. Levakesh is also to ask, to request. Like bivakasha literally means with a request. Bakasha is a request. So if you need something, let's say you're standing in a store and you're looking for something and you're not a guy who doesn't, I always look around. Last thing I want to do is ask. Eventually I do. And if you need something, you don't know where it is. So you have to, your bakasha is, your request is you have to go up to someone and ask, can you help me find something? Now we do that when we're looking for toothpaste, but we don't necessarily do that when we're looking for chokhmah. That's his point over here as well. And we have to enjoy. This prerequisite of enjoying is, it doesn't just mean, he could have said, if you seek it out like silver, like money, then you're going to be able to find chokhmah. But he also says, you search for it like treasure. What's the difference between kesef, meaning money or silver, and a treasure? What's the difference? So the first thing you think about when you hear treasure is probably pirates, right? You're thinking about this pile of money sitting inside some box, inside the chest, and you're going to open up and all these gold coins are going to pour out, or something as simple as seeking out someone. You do what's it called? You do like a treasure hunt. Or for kids, you put something away, you hide things. Why? What's the thrill in that? Because you're enjoying it. You're having fun. And we actually make that part of our davening, by the way. You may not even realize it, but if we take a look at the davening we say in the morning, one of our Bechot HaTorah, one of the brachot we make in the morning is, Hashem Elokeinu divrei Toratcha befinu, u'fi amcha Beit Yisrael, is a little different than I say, but I took the Ashkenazi one. Hashem, please make the words of your Torah pleasant in our mouths. This bracha is not just about, oh, we want to be able to learn Torah. This has to do with the beauty and wanting to really recognize the pleasantness of Torah. And not only that, we want to be able to pass it on to our next generations. But us be, and our descendants, and all the descendants of Israel, should all be people, students of your Torah, knowing your name, those who will learn Torah for your name's sake. But this bracha that we say every single morning is about the desire to enjoy Torah, to enjoy it, and to enjoy looking for Torah, to seek out Torah. In Mesilat Yesharim, he takes, in the introduction of Mesilat Yesharim, he takes this pasuk we're talking about, and he breaks it down. First, let's reread. I didn't put the English here, I'm sorry, but I will translate, obviously. If this is just the pasuk vav we just read a couple minutes ago, or pasuk daled rather, if you seek out wisdom like silver, and you will search for it like some hidden treasure, as tavin yirat Hashem, then you will understand what it is to have yirat Hashem, or the awe/fear of God. And Ramchal, Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, the author of the Mesilat Yesharim, says, Eino Omer, he doesn't say that if you seek out these things, as tavin philosophia, then you'll understand philosophy, or as tavin tchuna, you'll understand engineering, as tavin refuah, you'll understand medicine, as tavin dinim, you'll understand law, or as tavin halachot. Ela as tavin yirat Hashem, when you seek out chokhmah, when you seek out wisdom, yes, you're going to be able to, through your wisdom, acquire these other things. But what's the main point? If you want to understand what is yirat Hashem, you understand what is being in awe of God, seeing God in everything, being in fear of God. You have to seek, you have to look for it like money, and to also search for it like a treasure. And then what happens, let's look back to the psukim. Oops. As then, Tavin Yirat Hashem, V'dat Elokim Timtza. The Ramchal doesn't quote the whole pasuk. I just wanted to show you the whole pasuk again. Hashem will reveal the secrets. Hashem will reveal them, And it is as if, as it says down here, Ki Hashem yitain chokhmah, Hashem will give wisdom, mipiv dat utfuna, knowledge, and it says here, for the Lord grants wisdom, knowledge, and discernment by his decree. It doesn't say it here in the English, but literally means from his mouth. What is going on over there? Let me go to the next, go down the slide here. Okay. Okay. This is a Gemara Masechet Nidat. I'm going to read it to you and explain it, and we'll see how it fits in here. Shlosha divrei derech eretz mayaseh adam v'yechkam. This is a series of questions that are being placed to Rabbi Yoshua before this, and asking, what are the three things or ways that a person can act in order to become wise? Amar lahen, so Rabbi Yoshua answered, Yarbeh b'yeshiva, you should spend time sitting. It doesn't mean sitting watching Netflix. It means sitting learning. V'ma'et b'schora, and he should spend less time dealing in merchandise and in business. So they said, Amru, they said, and they're going to bring a third thing in later, but it's not important for us right now. Amru, they said, wait a minute. We know plenty of people. They sit and they learn. They do less business. They spend more time learning. It didn't help them. They didn't acquire wisdom. But rather, you should daven to Hashem, for whom all wisdom belongs. He says that if you want to be able to truly acquire wisdom, you got to put in your hishtadlut. You got to do your part. You got to try. You got to learn. You got to listen to tapes. You got to tapes, whatever. You listen to classes. Go to shiurim. Try your best. You go online. You learn. But ultimately, understand you also have to throw your hands up and say, Hashem, I need your help. And that's with absolutely everything, obviously. But what does Torah do? We're going to take a look. Oh, let's see. I have another slide I want to take, not this one. Yeah. Okay, let's go back for a second. Don't want to do this. Yeah. You'll take a look at the beginning here. Oops, went too far back. Here. Well, I said I want to come back to this one word because it appears in Pasuk Zayin, which we didn't do yet. I want to show you to it here. Starting again. Benim tikach hamarai, if you accept my words, umitzvotai titzpon itach, and you will treasure my commandments, then you have to listen and all these other things. What is this word titzpon? Okay. So in Hebrew, there are multiple words that have tzadi pei nun as the shoresh or the root of the word. If you take a look in the Haggadah, the almost last of the simanim is tzafun. It's tzafun, barech halon nirtzah. So tzafun is you eat the afikomah. What does tzafun mean? It means hidden. It's connected to tzafon, the north part of Israel, which was hidden. It's connected to something else, which is a person's matspun. A person's matspun is their, how do you say it in English? Conscience. It's a person's conscience. I can talk to you all day long. You can talk to somebody all day long, but I cannot know what's actually in your heart and in your mind. Even if you talk and you open up your heart, there's still nobody, and I mean nobody, to anybody on earth, I don't care how close and loving you are to somebody, really opens up to every single solitary thing that's on their mind, how they're feeling. First of all, it's almost impossible to do. And second of all, there's certain things that no matter what will always stay hidden inside of you, between you and God. And that's the matspun, a person's conscience, because it's hidden. It's tzadi peinun, it's tzafun inside of you. A matzpen is a compass, because it helps you find the north, which is tzafon, or tzafun. So it's telling us here, umitzvotai titzpon itach, you want to make this, it translates here in almost every place as treasure, but it also means you want to be that this hidden thing that's in you, it becomes a part of you, and then you are going to be able to bring it out by learning and teaching and growing and everything else. Now, we use that same word. Let's go down to the next couple of psukim. I'm not going to go through many of them. Just read the first couple of psukim here, which is, this is where I'm, if you have a sefer on Pasuk Zayin now. Now, it's written one way and it's pronounced another, so I'm just going to read how it's pronounced. Yitzpon laisharim tushia Magen lahochetom. He reserves, what does it say here? He reserves ability for the upright, and it is a shield for those who live blamelessly. Okay. So let me give you a different English translation. He will secure the eternal Torah for the upright. It is a shield for those who walk in innocence. Now, we have two different types of people mentioned in this pasuk. Yesharim, people who are upright. Holchetom are people who are blameless or innocent. That's first of all. And what does it mean, tushia? What does it mean? He will secure the Torah for the upright. The word tushia is there are many opinions as to what it really means. I have it here in my notes. It says the Ibn Ezra says it's from the word yesh, which means existence, which means Torah itself. So he says the way we translate this again is how it is here, or in what I just read before. Yitzbon laisharim toshia. The Torah itself is toshia. It is the ultimate yesh. Again, in Hasidus, it's known yeshus, the existence. It's the ultimate existence, which is the physical Torah. So Ibn Ezra says that it's one of the only things that will not revert to nothingness, and that Hashem will reserve the Torah for the people who put their efforts into it. Rabbi Yonah tells us it's from the word, I have it here, let me find it, Ashioteha. Ashioteha is from the word, as a pasuk in Yirmiyahu, which means foundations. The Torah itself, again, different approach, that the Torah itself is the foundation of the world. And one other one, and this is going to actually help you understand something we do as all the time in Shul. I'm going to help you understand that in a second. That the word tushia is from the word is matashet or mateshet, which means it's weakening. Torah weakens us. Now, what does that mean? Before I explain that, let me show you a Gemara, and then we'll explain that and something that we do all the time, if not all the time, almost every single day. Here's the Gemara. This is in, where is this? Where's the Gemara? In Sanhedrin, I believe. Yom Echad, one day, Havekasachi Rabbi Yochanan beyardena. One day, Rabbi Yochanan was taking a swim or bathing in the Jordan River. Make this a little bigger, see it better. Chazei Reish Lakish ushvar liyardena abatrei. Reish Lakish saw him and he jumped into the Jordan River to chase after him. Amarle chelach leoraita. And at that time, Reish Lakish, no, it doesn't say that here. So Rabbi Yochanan said to Reish Lakish, your strength is fit for Torah. In other words, he jumps in, he's trying to come after Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, you're a strong guy. You should use that strength basically for Torah. Amarle shufrach lenashe. He said, your beauty, he said to Reish Lakish, said to Rabbi Yochanan, you're so handsome, you're like the perfect thing for women. It's beauty that's fit for a woman. Amarle ihadrat bach. He said to him, so Rabbi Yochanan said to him, if you will stop being a bad guy, because at that point Reish Lakish was a ganef, a thief. If you'll stop that, Yahibne lach achoti, I will let you marry my sister, the Shapira Minai, who's even more beautiful than me. Now, you want to take this literally, figuratively, but in any case, there's this discussion here. And what happens, what's going on here is Rabbi Yochanan is trying to get Reish Lakish to turn away from a life of sin and stealing, and to use his powers for good and not evil, as they say by Superman. Kabilale. So what happened? So Reish Lakish accepted. He took the challenge. Then, after he decides to become a Shomer Torah mitzvos, so Reish Lakish wanted to jump back out of the river and bring back his clothes, but he couldn't. Why? He lost his physical strength as soon as he accepted his responsibility to learn Torah. What does it say here? Rashi, velo matzi, he was unable. What was he unable to do? He was, once he decided to learn Torah, to become a Baal Tshuva, he lost his certain level of strength. Because as soon as he accepted upon himself the yoke of Torah, he became a little weakened. Now, what does this really mean? There's this concept that when we are involved in Torah, it's tiring. When a person really puts their heart and soul into it, it can be very tiring. I can tell you, I don't, I don't want to sound like some big shot here, but there are certain classes I walk away from after I've taught them or speeches I've given. I'm wiped out, and yes, it's because it's the Torah, but also it could be another topic, and I still could potentially be wiped out. I don't know, but that's not what I do. I speak about generally talk about Torah. I hope, but I'm not talking about a little guy like me. I'm talking about these people really put in, and even somebody who does something insignificant. Person gets what happens? A person davens, it becomes chazan, or it's not insignificant, but I'm saying it's brief. A person gets called up to the Torah. He comes down from getting an aliyah to the Torah, right? In Ashkenazim, what do Ashkenazim say? Shkoyach. What's shkoyach? Which is a kind of a combination of two words. Yiyasher kochacha. May your strength be strengthened in a sense, be straightened out. What do we say? Why are you wishing this guy to be strong? Because even a little bit of dabbling in Torah, some weakness comes about as a result of that. So that's the origin when Ashkenazim say Yasher Koach or Shkoyach. And it becomes anything like, it becomes in modern usage just like, oh, great, thanks a lot. Like, oh, you brought this to me, Shkoyach. But when you say it to somebody after they have an aliyah, after they've been the chazan, after they've done a mitzvah, you say, oh, Yasher Koach. That's where it comes from. By the way, we in this modern time did not invent that set of words. It goes all the way back to the Gemara. Gemara discusses three things that Moshe Rabbeinu decided to do on his own, and those three things Hashem said to him, Yasher Kochacha. Hashem gave him himself a shkoyach. Okay, so now you know, if you don't remember anything else from tonight's class, why in the Ashkenazi world it is said. In the Sephardi world, it's chazak u'baruch. You should be strengthened and you should be blessed. Similar idea, the concept of chozka, of chozek, being chazak, being stronger. But that's where it comes from. So now we go back and we see Yitzmol Hashem Toshiyah, that he will secure the eternal Torah for the upright. But what does it mean what is this? Why is the Torah called Toshiyah? Because it's metish, matish. It tires a person out. What's the difference between upright, Yisharim, and Tom, people who are innocent? So Vilna Gaon tells us like this. I'm going to read to you a sentence I have. I wrote it and translated it to English. An upright person weighs all the points of view, right and wrong alike, and after careful deliberation, chooses the proper course. He will never stumble, for he acts with forethought, assuming every action carefully. But he needs Torah, Tushiyah, to provide him with proper guidance. An innocent person single-mindedly follows the course of Torah. He refuses to give thought to alternative courses, and such a person can sometimes be misled unwittingly. Meaning, what is the Vilna Gaon telling us? That a yashar person is a person who weighs all the possibilities when he's trying to make a decision that has to do with Torah or about life, and bringing all the different possibilities in with the Torah perspective. It's sad how many people might make decisions in life without bringing the Torah element into it and the content and the question about it. But there are people who will do that, and they will weigh all the possibilities, and eventually will make the right decision based on Torah. There are those who are halchei tom, people who are innocent, and they will go through the motions of doing their due diligence, but they just follow a single path. They won't necessarily look at other alternatives. Now, what I'm talking about is the difference in philosophy as well. There are those who look at Torah. Now, he's not saying it exactly like this here, but I'm using this as a jumping off point to explain my perspective. There are two general perspectives in how to decide what to do based on Torah. One is everything's black and white. This is the way it is. There's no gray. It's black and white. This is the halacha. This is what you do, period. End of the discussion. And then there are others who understand that that's not how halacha is meant to be. Halacha is meant to have gray. It's even written into the Shulchan Aruch that there are things that are not black and white. The same question could be asked by two people, and they'll get two different answers. because one is not mat'im, is not appropriate for one, and it is for the other. That's the difference between, again, not necessarily have to exactly the words Yisharim and Holchet Tom, but when you accept everything as black and white, and you see absolutely no gray, what happens is you have narrowed your focus of what Torah really is. You don't allow Torah to be the living and breathing being, so to speak, that it truly is. By the way, that Gemara was not from Sanhedrin, it's Bava Metzia, I think. I think I said it wrong. So what are the benefits of Chokhmah? What are the benefits? Let's read a couple more psukim. Lintzor chok mishpat, b'derech chasidav yishmor. I'm going to use my translation here. I have in front of me. Where is it? Then you will understand. Nope, sorry, wrong pasuk. When wisdom has to mean. Hold on one second. What am I here? Lin sorochot. I turned the page. My notes here. Wait here. Okay. Lin sorochot mishpat v'derech chasidav yishmor. To safeguard the paths of justice, and he will protect the way of his devout ones. We get a special protection from Hashem when we are loyal to Hashem, when we do the right thing, when we search out Chokhmah, when we understand Hashem's Torah, when we put it into practice. Also, as Tavin Tzedek, he already said this expression, as Tavin, right? You'll understand what Yirat Hashem is. It's even more than that he's telling us now. As Tavin Tzedek u'mishpat. You'll understand righteousness and justice, u'mishpat, u'mesharim kol ma'agal tov, and every good course. So I'm not going to get into tonight what these different things are, but just in very general terms, there are things that are correct, there are things that are just, there are things that are equitable, there are things that are black and white. And I said before, not everything is black and white, but there are some things that are in fact black and white. Ki tavo chokhmah b'libecha, when chokhmah really does penetrate your heart, v'da'at nafshecha yina'am, and knowledge will cause you happiness, joy. What happens? The foresight, the ability to understand now, the da'at, which is this further deeper level of knowledge, will protect you, and binah will also guard you. What is it going to guard you from? He's now talking back now, what we saw in the beginning, in the first chapter. It's going to save you from the way of evil people. A person who speaks, what does he say here, in a duplicitous fashion. It's also like an upside down way. It will protect you from those who walk in darkness, who rejoice in doing evil. It will also, if you look at English, it'll exult in the duplicity of evil men whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their course. These, he says, these few psukim are benefits. Let me take it off of here for a minute. Are benefits of Chokhmah. He went from, listen, when they try to entice you, you got to protect yourself. Run the other way. Here's what you say. Then he said, okay, now I'm speaking to you again as Chokhmah. Well, here's how you're going to acquire Chokhmah. Great. Now you're going to acquire it. What's going to happen to you? All these other good things, all these benefits. Hashem protects you. The Torah protects you. You have a better outlook on life. You understand more about, which we'll see in Pirkei Avot class. We saw, and we will see in another Mishnah, where it says, who is considered wise? Again, the word chokhmah, one who sees what will happen eventually because of certain circumstances. He's saying that there's protect yourself. Here's what you need to do to acquire this chokhmah as the antidote. Here's what's going to be your benefit. Bezrat Hashem next week, when we learn Mishle and not start off with Jewish history by accident, we'll continue on these protective measures. For those of you who are a little bit curious about the topic we were talking about by accident at the beginning of the class on Zionism and Jewish history, Tuesday night, Bezrat Hashem at 7 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful evening. Shavua Tov, and only good news, Bezrat Hashem. That's what we
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.